All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we are going to be checking out a brand new starter deck. We're going to be checking out ST-14. It's going to be called 3D2Y. And yeah, this deck, guys, completely slipped under my radar. I'm just being honest with y'all. I usually like to review new sets and new releases of whatever kind. I usually like to review those about 2 to 3 weeks before they even come out in the East. So that way, when the new deck lists come out, the new winning decks from the East come out, we can talk about them, and that way you know what's coming, right? Like, you'll know what cards are already in the deck list because we reviewed them already. That way I don't have to break down every single card. But with this one, guys, it just totally slipped under my radar because this has been out since April 27th, 2024 for the East. For the West, we won't see this for probably another 3 months. But still, like I said, this one snuck up on me. So guys, we are behind. Let's go ahead and get into this. Let me tell you, let me give you a quick layout of what we're going to be doing in this video. First up, we're going to be going over all the new cards from the ST-14 deck, the new ST-14 starter deck. Then from there, we're going to check out a deck list from the East that has already done pretty well at a local tournament. I think it was a 15 or 20 player local tournament. We'll check that out. Then we're going to go over a game I did on the sim, using this leader. It's going to be a pretty fun one, pretty interesting game. And then we'll wrap up with, the deck list that I'm using. We'll talk about it, and we'll give some final thoughts. So you know what you get into, guys. There is going to be some spoilers in this. Obviously, the entire thing is going to be a spoiler. So, like I said, you know what you get into. Let's go ahead and dive straight in. I will try and get through this as quick as possible, guys, because we do got a lot of cards to go over. And I'm not going to really do any kind of rating system because I will say that most of this set is very exclusive to this leader and a new direction, at least potential direction for the future of Black, or that Black will have in the future, however you want to say that. So let's go ahead and dive into this, guys. First up is the leader. We're going to talk about the leader first and then the stage because it's very important. Understanding what the leader does and what the stage does is very important to making this deck work the way it's supposed to. So let's go ahead and just dive straight into it. And I think it will start making more sense as we go over it. So first up is the 5,000 power, 5 life leader, mono black, straw hat crew. Another Luffy, by the way. Like, I feel like we had another starter deck with Luffy in it that was black, yellow Luffy, and the ST-13, the three brothers. And now we got this one. So that's very interesting. But listen to this effect, guys. Excuse me. Dawn ×1, all of your characters gain +1 cost. Now, this is a static effect. This is not like when attacking or on play, or obviously it's not on play, it's a leader, but this is not a when attacking or on your opponent's turn or on your turn only. This is static. So right there alone is a benefit, right? That is an inherent benefit to getting around removal. Not necessarily getting around it, but making removal harder for your opponent. Because a lot of the removal in this game, not all of it, but a lot of the removal in this game is cost-based. And an effect like this increases the cost of all of your characters on the board. That is very, very important, but it also does something else in this deck that we'll look at later. It has other synergy within the deck. Like this next part, for example, if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, this leader gains +1,000 power. Now that part right there, if we have a Gecko Moria in play or something, right, and we attach one Dawn, first of all, the Gecko Moria will become a 9 cost character, and our leader will be a 7,000 power attacker and 6,000 power on defense or on our opponent's turn. So you see how we can probably get around the 8 cost by actually getting like a 7 cost character into play, buffing it with this leader's effect, and now we have an 8 cost character. Even though it's a 7 cost, this static effect happens as long as you have one Dawn attached to your leader. All of your characters will gain +1 cost. Now that second part though, if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, this leader gains +1,000 power. That is also static. So in other words, if they somehow, like, let's just say they red rock your 8 cost or more character off the board, and now you don't have another character that is 8 cost or more, well, you lose that +1,000 power. So that is something you have to take into consideration and think about. There's going to be a lot of numbers in today's video, guys. I'm just giving you all a warning. We got a little bit of this is going to be a little bit confusing for some people, I know, but there's a lot of numbers moving around with costs and all that kind of stuff. So something to, if you're not big into, the numbers game when it comes to TCGs, like having that aspect of it involved, this might not be the best deck for you, right? And I totally understand that. Excuse me. So guys, let's go ahead and instead of going forwards right now, we're going to go backwards to the stage because we need to talk about that too. I'm going to spend a little more time on the leader and the stage because they have to be explained. So that way the rest of the video, you know, makes sense, right? So, okay, here's the stage. This is a 1-cost Straw Hat Crew type stage. All of your black Straw Hat Crew type characters gain +1 cost. And then on play, if your leader has the Straw Hat Crew type, draw 1 card. That is really nice, right? Like that is really, really nice, guys. Notice what's going on there. If you have 1 Dawn attached to your leader and you have the stage down, all of your black Straw Hat Crew characters have +2 cost. And then all of your characters have at least +1 cost from the leader. Notice the stage only hits Straw Hat Crew, black Straw Hat Crew type characters. But that's all you'd be able to play in this deck anyway, right? And then this one gets all characters. Okay, so the stage is a little bit weaker than the leader, but this is a static effect as well, where it is just in play, this happens. Like it is just, it is in play even before your on-play effects come into effect. And we'll explain that in about 2 more cards. So just to give a quick idea of what y'all are dealing with here, we are dealing with cost gains as opposed to cost reduction within the color pool of black. So that very interesting stuff here. All right, now that part took me a little bit to explain. Everything else should make sense from here, and we'll be able to go through it a little bit quicker. Now we got Usopp. This is a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1,000 counter character, Straw Hat Crew character. With the effect of Dawn ×1 when attacking, if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. If you can satisfy that 8 or more clause there, this is a very powerful character. They must remove it. It must be removed, right? And think about it, it's going to be harder to remove than a normal 4-cost character, or a 3-cost character, because it will actually have +1 from your leader's effect, and then another potential +1 from your stage. So this could be like a base 5-cost character, which is that's a lot harder to remove than a 3 or a 4-cost character. So very good stuff there. But if you can get an 8-cost or more in play, you can K up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. Very solid, very good stuff there. Next up is Sanji. So this is where it might have been a little bit confusing to you earlier. I think it'll make more sense to you now. This is a 5-cost, 6,000 power character, Straw Hat Crew type. Effect on play. If you have a character with a cost of 6 or more, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. Well, darn, this is, shoot, this is a 5-cost character, right? If you attach 1 Dawn to your leader, remember what that does, guys. If you attach 1 Dawn to your leader, or if you have the stage in play, all of your characters gain +1 cost as a static effect. So this is how that will work. When you play this character, and let's just assume you have 1 Dawn attached to your leader, if you play this character, he enters play, and then before the on-play resolves, you will actually, that character will get +1 to its cost. So he'll be a 6. So then it will ask, if you have a character with a cost of 6 or more, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. So you see what's going on here, though, simultaneously. This reminds me of Shashi and Penguin from the ST-10, the 2K counter from ST-10 for Red Purple Law. Realistically, you can't play Shashi and Penguin in any other deck and get the +2 Dawn effect. It can only, currently, it can only happen within Red Purple Law. I mean, unless you guys can think of another example of how it could work, I don't think it can. Well, same thing with Sanji. In Sanji, you can't just play this card and get the effect unless you have a 6 or more already in play from a prior turn. But then you lose a little bit of tempo, right? You want to play this right on turn 3, right? Whether you went first or second. If you went first, hopefully you got the stage, so you can play this card down and immediately be able to KO a 5 or less. And if you went second, then you'll be able to attach 1 Dawn to your leader and then play it out, and he'll hit anything that's a 5 or less on the board. This card is outstanding, but it's not completely exclusive to this deck, but it's pretty limited to this deck, for all practical purposes. Next up, we got Jinbei. This is a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1,000 counter character. Now, he is a Fishman Sun Pirates type. This is not a Straw Hat Crew type. So remember, yes, the leader will buff him up to 4, but the stage will not. However, this is a buff character. Listen to what he does. He has Activate Main once per turn. Up to one of your black Straw Hat Crew type characters gains +2 cost until the end of your opponent's next turn. That will come into play a little bit later. Like, that will help a little bit later, you'll see. But in general, that does protect from any deck that's running like black, and probably any deck that's running green. Those will typically tap down characters or KO them based off of cost. So if you're increasing a character's cost by 2 until the end of your opponent's next turn, that's pretty massive, right? Like that's actually huge, right? That's huge. So this could be very good, but it's also a little combo-y. It kind of introduces a few too many moving parts. Like, you want your cards to get their effect right when they enter play, or excuse me, you want your cards to get an effect as soon as they enter play. This does technically get an effect as soon as it enters play, but it's not the greatest turn 2 play on 3 Dawn. I don't know. Hopefully you guys know what I'm saying. I'm not head over heels about that one. Next up, we got Tony Chopper. This is just a vanilla, 4 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter. Awesome artwork. Love this one. Next up is Nami. So this is a 3 cost, 2,000 power, 1,000 counter blocker with, on play, if you have 6 or less cards in your hand and a character with a cost of 8 or more, draw 1 card. So now you see where, like, let's just say potentially you had down Jinbei. And let's just imagine the perfect pool. Turn 1 Stage, turn 2 Jinbei, turn 3 Sanji to pop one of their guys, and now turn 4, attaching 1 Dawn to your leader, and there's 1 Dawn under, and then there's, so your leader and your stage are turned on. Sanji would then be a 7 cost character, right? Then you could also buff him with this guy, with Jinbei, up to 9 cost, and then that would turn on the effect of something like Nami, where you have an 8 cost or more character in play now, and if you have 6 or less cards in hand, you'd be able to draw a card. This is also a very special 3 cost blocker card, right? Like, that number is very special, right? Think of this with Gecko Moria. If you have a Rebecca and Nami in your trash, or even just a Rebecca in your trash and then Nami in hand, what you'd be able to do is play out Gecko Moria, get back the Rebecca from your trash, which will play out the Nami, and you can get something else out of your trash if you need it, you know, and that will allow you to draw a card because now you have Gecko Moria in play, which is an 8 cost or more character. So you see how technical this can get. It can definitely be a little bit on like the, you know, the galaxy brain side, the witty side, where you're having to do a lot of numbers and a lot of math. But if you're good with numbers and math, like, this deck is going to be perfect for you. Okay, next up is Nico Robin. This card is pretty solid. This is a 6 cost, 7,000 power, 1k counter card. Straw Hat Crew type. On play, when attacking, or on play / when attacking, excuse me, if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, give up to one of your opponent's characters -5 cost during this turn. Now remember everything we just said. If you have 1 Dawn under your leader and you have your stage in play, this character satisfies that. And that means literally on play. Because the stage and the leader's effect is static. So let's say you have 7 Dawn and you have the stage in play. Attach 1 Dawn to your leader. Now, any character that enters play, or any Straw Hat Crew character, will be +2 to their cost. So this Nico Robin will come down as an 8 cost, and it will be able to -5 to one of your opponent's characters, which is extremely powerful, right? And it's a 6 cost, 7,000 power, 1k counter. Like, this is just barely worse than a vanilla stats with that effect. So this card I was a big fan of. I did some play testing. I was a big fan of this card. Very solid. Next up is Herodotus. Not sure how to say that. He is a 1 cost, 2k counter. That's the big thing there. 1 cost, 0 power, 2k counter. Sky Island type. That's interesting. Activate main. You may rest this character, and up to one of your black Straw Hat Crew type characters gains +2 cost until the end of your opponent's next turn. Then, if you have a character with an 8 cost or the cost of 8 or more in play, draw 1 card and trash 1 card from your hand. So this is going to let you make your characters bigger if you choose to play it. Otherwise, it's just a good 2k counter. But this will allow you to play out, you know, characters, make them bigger, and potentially draw cards from it. So not bad. Pretty solid 2k counter, like utility-wise. Next up is Frankie. 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter. Straw Hat Crew type. Dawn ×1 on your opponent's turn. If you have a character with a cost of 6 or more, this character cannot be KO'd by your opponent's effects and gains +2,000 power. I did not have the chance to play test this card, but it does seem very good. I will say that. Because as long as you have 1 Dawn attached to your leader, then this guy is going to be a 6 cost card himself. So he will get the +2. He'll be a 5 cost. He'll basically be a 5 cost 8k. Has the 1k counter. Will not be KO'd by effects. Like this card is pretty solid, and I wish I'd given this one a chance. Okay, next up is Brooke. This is just a 5 cost, 7k, 1k counter vanilla, and it looks awesome. Looks incredible. Next up, we got Heracles. Okay, so maybe that other one was Herodotus. Did I say that one right? No, maybe not. Herodos. Y'all help me out. I have no idea how to say that in the comment section below. Or I have no idea. Y'all hear? I'm completely backwards right now. I have no idea how to say that. Y'all help me out in the comment section below. Then we got Heracles here. This is a 1 cost, 2,000 power, 2k counter. Again, this is another 2k counter from Bowen Island, who has Activate Main. You may rest this character. Up to one of your black Straw Hat Crew type characters gains +2 cost to the end of your opponent's next turn. So pretty much the exact same thing as the other one we were looking at. Like for the other 2k counter we were looking at. But this one doesn't have the additional effect of being able to draw a card and trash a card if you have an 8 or more in play. But instead of it being a 1 cost 0 power, because that other one was, what was that, 2 cost? Yeah, 1 cost. This is a 1 cost 0 power card, and this one is a 1 cost 2,000 power card. So I guess it's a little bit more aggressive if you need it to be. Honestly, they're just 2K counters. That's all you need them for. Okay, next up we got Luffy. Look at my guy Rayleigh in the background. Check it out. Y'all see that? Got my guy Rayleigh back there. This is an 8 cost 10,000 power character. So vanilla stated without the 1K counter. Straw Hat Crew type. And the effect is if you have a character with a cost of 10 or more, this character gains Rush. So 9 Dawn turn, guys. If you have the stage down, attach 1 to your leader. Play this card down. It is an 8 cost 10,000 power Rush card, and your leader's coming in for 7. This card is solid. This seems like it's really good. And it's not as situational as you might think because of the stage and leader effect. Very good stuff there. Great finisher card too, by the way. Just being able to have an 8 cost that rushes in for 10 like that. Very solid. Okay, this art looks incredible. This art looks absolutely incredible. Zoro here. This is a 6 cost, 8,000 power, 1K counter, vanilla card. Straw Hat Crew, of course. This one looks great. Really big fan of this. I'll tell you what, 10 out of 10 on the artwork. Looks just absolutely amazing. Next up is Gum Gum Giant Rifle. This is an event, 1 cost, Straw Hat Crew type. The effect is counter. If you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 3,000 power during this battle. Not a big fan of that, I have to say. But trigger, add up to one of your cards with a cost of 2 or less from your trash to your hand. The trigger is nice for fishing back 2K counters in this deck, but I am not a fan of that. Okay, one thing that makes Radical Beam so good, like Radical Beam from Red, right? We're talking about Red Radical Beam, 1 cost event, counter for plus 2,000 and then plus another 2,000 if you're at 2 or less life, is when you need that card to work, which is when you're at 2 life or less, it's always going to work, right? There is no like, oh, but, you know, you didn't have a 5,000 power character on the board, or, oh, your opponent didn't have a, 2 characters, whatever. I just made up some clauses there. But this effect I do not like on a defensive measure like this. I just think it is way too specific, and if they just get rid of your character anyway, now you don't even have the effect on, or if you never got the chance to get down an 8 cost character, I'm not a big fan of this. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am not a big fan of this at all. And I think that every color should have a non-exclusive plus 3,000, like 1 cost 3,000 power event. I don't know why there has to be a flavor of that color within it. And who knows, maybe that's where neutral cards should enter the game at some point, because I just think that I think that every single color should have a 0 cost trash a card to do a 3K, a 1 cost 3K, and then a 2 cost, maybe 4, maybe even a 5K, like how Ikaku Sovereignty is, that just every color can use. And I don't know, I know a lot of people, that might be a hot take, like a lot of people don't agree with, but I just feel like certain cards, they're trying to make, like with Barrier. I'll chill after this. I'm sorry about this rant right now, guys. But like even with Barrier is a 1 cost 4,000 power or counter. Yeah, one cost 4,000 power counter that never sees play because it's not Rad Beam. Like because Radical Beam just is always on when you need it. Like because you need these 1 cost 4K counters when you're about to get KO'd. You're about to lose the game. Well, therefore Rad Beam's always on. But cards like this, it's like, well, oh, if I wasn't able to keep my 8 cost character in play last turn and now I have to fill the board with smaller stuff, now this card's just dead. So I'll end the rant right there. I'm sorry, guys. I do apologize, but like I really don't like when they do that. I'm not a big fan. And that's where I know I've spoken about it. Joey has spoken about it. But if they had a neutral card pool, certain cards should just exist. Like a 1 cost 3K counter. No stipulation. Because you have 0 cost 2K counters in your characters. Why can't you have an event that's just a 1 cost 3K counter with a trigger that like draws you a card or something? Just something generic. Okay, sorry. End rant. I had to get that off my chest, guys. Thank y'all for dealing with me. All right, this next one here. You ready for this name? Gum Gum Diable 3 sword style mutant jet 600 pound Phoenix cannon. That's incredible. That's probably the best name in the entire game currently. Let me try it one more time. Gum Gum Diable 3 sword style mutton. Is it mutton or mutant? I think it's mutton. Jet 600 pound Phoenix cannon. So this is a 2 cost Straw Hat type event with main effect. Up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 3,000 power during this turn. Then if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. Trigger, if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. So the trigger is potentially incredible if you have an 8 cost character on the board. But the main is also very solid. This is basically Black's version of Houndblaze. It is a 2-cost plus 3,000 power period to a leader or character. But then if you reach a certain, you know, clause or a certain stipulation, then you also get the added effect of being able to KO with 2 or less. So good stuff right there, and the name is just incredible. Okay, and then lastly here we have I Have My Crew. Just checking the time on the video, we're doing good. Okay, I Have My Crew. This is a 1-cost Straw Hat Crew type event. Main, draw 1 card, and then up to 1 of your characters gains plus 3 costs until the end of your opponent's next turn. Trigger, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with the cost of 3 or less. Solid triggers, and I believe that's the last one. Yeah, then we're back to the stage. So overall, guys, I will say as far as the cards go, it is interesting. This is an interesting list, and we're in an interesting starter deck, and we're about to look at a very interesting list we'll talk about in a second here from the East. But I think it needs a little more support before I can go into like a higher tier, a more competitive, you know, area. So let's go ahead and go over to the East real quick. This is the only list I was able to find, and this happened literally just May 2nd, and I'm recording this on May 7th, so just 5 days ago. And look at this, guys. It's running. Okay, you know, here's the leader. And notice what it's running. It is all over the place. The list I'm running is not this far all over the place. Not to say this is a bad list, but I'm trying to approach things a little bit differently, because I don't see how they're running this without Gecko Moria. But then again, you know, playing this out, or excuse me, using this leader and playing out like this 7-cost Luffy, this is an 8-cost character now, right? Which is very solid. You know, for 8 Dawn, you're getting a 7K leader that attacks, 6K on defense, and you have an 8-cost 7K you're playing at one time, which is, and everyone knows if this card sticks, they're in a lot of trouble. So this deck is running 2 Kuzans, 4 Surus, 4 Sabo, 4 Bartolomeo, 3 of the 7-cost Luffy, the Dressrosa Luffy, 2 Rebecca, 4 One-Legged Toy Soldier, 1 Monshri, 2 Rebecca, the 4-cost blocker, 4 Brook, 4 Sanji, this card's incredible, 4 Nico Robin, 4 of the Gum Gum Diable 3-sword style Mutton Jet 600-pound cannon, Phoenix Cannon, then 4 of the I Have My Crew, and 4 of the stage, 1000 Sunny. I don't know what is going on here, guys. If y'all can piece this together, please do in the comment section below. Obviously, we have a very strong combo with Rebecca and Brook, and we have insane potential for cost reduction with Nico Robin, so maybe they're banking off of that. But the thing I don't understand in the deck list is this one. I don't understand the Luffy, because it is hard to put 7 cards in the trash in a deck that doesn't have it built into the leader, right? Like, yes, this list does have 2 Rebeccas, it does have 4 Sabos, but that's the only actual cycle that this deck has. Because like Monshri, for example, is counter to that, right? You're taking cards from your trash. This will remove 3 cards from your trash. 2 will go to the bottom of your deck, and the other will go back to your hand. So that has no synergy in this deck with the Luffy. But hey, guys, I mean, like I said, it got first place at a store battle, 15 players. Who knows? We don't know the skill level of these players. But the only cards on here that actually get cards in your trash, other than with counters, you know, other than just countering out and stuff, is like Rebecca here. This will put up to 3 cards in your trash, and Sabo will put 2 cards in your trash whenever you use it. So, who knows? You know, this is a very interesting list, and maybe I'm missing something. Like I said, if I'm missing something, you guys help me out. I get the Sanji, I get the Nico Robin, I get the Rebecca and Brook combo. I get this card's just incredible. Like I said, the new event that KOs to 2 or less. This is just really strong. This card, I guess it's good for the draw card effect. You know, it's almost like who cares about the +3 cost? That could just be a benefit later in the game. The trigger is always good early on, and then drawing 1 card early on is always good as well. So that's fine. It's just like a cycle card. And the stage is incredible. Of course, we get that. The 2K counters are fine. I get the Kuzan, the Sabo. I guess I just really don't get the 7-cost Luffy. This is the one card for me where I'm like, how are they just using it to attack into, you know, active characters? Which maybe they are. Who knows? Maybe they are doing that. So anyway, very cool stuff there. Very, very interesting. Like I said, this list here. But yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on this. Let's go over to the game that I have prepared for y'all, and y'all tell me what y'all think, you know, about that list we just looked at in the comment section below. Because that was pretty wild, guys. That was pretty interesting, I have to say. Okay. Oops. And if you guys have any good lists, please post it down in the comment section below. Okay, we're good. Let me hit play. Volume's off. Speed's at 2x. We're good to go. So guys, like I said, this list is Now, I am going against Dr. Vegapunk, so let's not put too much into this deck list, guys. Like, I do think it needs to be improved, but hopefully you guys will get at least a taste of how much potential there is for this leader and for this deck. Okay, he plays out a Pythagoras turn 1. Pythagoras is a card that has on KO. He can bring back a 4-cost from the trash into play. But I'm not really worried about that if he doesn't have a 4-cost in his trash, right? Because right now he has the 5-cost card. I will say, like, I talked about this when I did my, I did a whole review of Yellow probably almost a month ago now, I think, or maybe half a month ago. And I just don't think that card is very good, the Pythagoras card. So if you have two, if you have 2 or less life, play out a 4-cost card from your trash. And that's on KO. So right now, oh, you don't have any card in your trash? Well, okay. I guess I'll just, since I don't have a better play this turn, maybe I'll just load everything on Luffy and KO your Pythagoras, right? Unless you want to give me a bunch of cards from your hand. And honestly, he might not even have enough cards. He'd have to give me 3 6Ks or 3 2Ks from hand to block out of this. Or two 2Ks and a 1K or something. Or give me his blocker. Honestly, maybe he should have just given me the blocker. I don't know. It's hard to say. And one thing I have noticed against Vegapunk is as long as you are attacking into the leader or a character on the board, you have to make them either lose 1 life a turn or make them lose 1 character a turn. Anything more than that is just pure value, because you just have to make it to the late game in a good enough position where you can just bully them. Okay, so I got the 6-cost Zoro, excuse me, but I would really like to establish my Robin right here. So right here I have to do it like this. So I'm going to swing 6. Okay, he takes 6, it's the draw 2. I play out the Nico Robin, and I'm just going to pass turn. I'm not attacking with anything just yet. I don't want to give him any of my cards. I'd rather just keep keep poking with my leader, let him have his way a little bit for now, because as I establish a bigger and bigger board, if he doesn't have removal, which Yellow typically doesn't have a ton of removal, well, especially not the Vegapunk version, or well, who knows, maybe in the future it'll build in more removal. But currently, oh nice, and I got 1,000 Sunny. Sorry guys, I'm all over the place. This deck doesn't have, the Vegapunk deck does not have a lot of removal. It's more trying to get advantage with, gaining cards to life. And I think this one's even running like an ace or something, like a 10-cost ace to get advantage later in the game. But I just need to keep, the board under my control. Like, it's starting to get out of control. But now that I have the stage, watch how this turn goes, guys. So my Nico Rob is now an 8-cost card. So now, whenever I attack, I can minus cost something. So he should have used his blocker there. I'm just going to be honest. I guess it wouldn't have mattered either way, though. So okay, a lot just happened. Hang on, guys. I'm sorry. Let me go back to here. Let me hit play. Okay, so pause. So when I attack with Nico Robin, I'm going to minus the cost of his Shaka. Now, with Shaka he'll be a 0 cost now, because Nico Robin does -5 if you have an 8 or more character in play. Now, that Shaka is marked for death literally on the board. Because remember, Usopp, if you attach 1 Dawn to him and you have an 8 or more in play, you can actually just pop a 4 or less, period. So Shaka's at 0, Edison's at 4, so I can pop either of these guys on the board. So, and here's the thing, the reason I can attack into his, I forgot the name, was Atlas or something like that, or let me see. I think it's Atlas is the name of this character. Yeah, Atlas. I can just KO it because we have equal life. Now I attack into his Vegapunk to KO the blocker. He can't even get value from that. And I play out Sanji and wipe the last card. That was an absolute annihilation of a turn right there, guys, where all 3 of his characters went bye-bye. I think I got 2 attacks into his face. He plays out the ace. I'm not letting him have my Nico Robin for that. Because remember, he can't attack with his leader. Leaders that cannot attack, man, you have to have some type of benefit to that. Like, more than what Vegapunk has. Some kind of, like, character, kind of like what Rebecca has with Kairos, where you can play a character that has some kind of, like, recurring value. So swing 7 at face, -5 to your ace. And now I'm just going to pop it with Sanji. Just so strong, guys. And I almost messed up. Notice when I swung with Nico Robin. Hang on, let me go back real quick. All right, look at this. So I almost swung with Nico Robin before attaching 1 Dawn to my leader, and then it would not have gotten the -5. So this is a very technical deck. There's a lot of technicality going on here, but if you can get it down, if you can get down the basic rhythm of the deck, I think it's potentially very strong. I'm going to be honest, guys. I think it's pretty strong. Swing 7 and swing 7 and swing 7, and then it's going to be his turn. He is completely up against the ropes now. He takes that. He did get a Nico Robin to draw two cards. That Nico Robin card from Egghead or from Vegapunk is super powerful. He's got that Pythagoras down again, guys. That card, I just don't think it can do anything for him here. Right here, he should do whatever he can to remove as many characters as he can. See, right there, I actually think maybe he should have bounced his own card back to his hand. I don't know. It probably wouldn't have mattered. He swings 7 into 4. I give him 4 1Ks because I need to... I'm like, no, we're going to have to end the game this turn. I don't even try to remove anything. It's just going to be 7s and then everything else on my leader. Or something along those lines. Okay. So plus... Oh, so since he took that... That Usopp was very interesting because it had a trigger, give one of your Egghead guys or characters or leaders, I think, plus 2,000 power to the end of the turn. So his Egghead, or excuse me, his leader, Vegapunk, is 7,000 power base right now. That is very strong. But what I do there instead is I just go everything in on my Sanji and swing for 14 after giving it plus 3,000 from the new event that gives plus 3K. And that was pretty much how I ended. I think looking back, what I should have done was swung 7 and 7 with both Sanjis to get minimum 2 cards out of hand. And then from there, I can, put the rest on my leader and buff it in the way I was saying. But either way, it works out and, it got the job done. Good stuff. Pretty interesting deck, I will say. Here's the list I was running. I'd probably go up to 4 Usopps after doing the testing. I'd probably go up the Frankie. Let me bring up Straw Hat Crew for black. There's not too many yet. Yeah, I think Frankie needs to go in the deck, I will say. We didn't get to see me play Gecko Moria. Maybe I go down a Gecko Moria and just completely cut Zoro. I hate to say it, because this card did seem very good. But Frankie is just a 5-cost, 8,000 power character anyway. You know what I mean? Potentially. I mean, it kind of depends, I guess. But y'all know what I'm saying. This card was good too when I was messing with it. But I kind of like that as a 2 of. The Sabos were solid. Rebecca was nice. I think it'd be nice to fit in maybe Brook. Maybe like 1 or 2 Brooks in the list. Because maybe at the end of the day, this is not strong enough to run. I don't know. It is a nice buff card. If you guys got any ideas, by all means, y'all help me out in the comment section below. This is not really my style of deck for what black is doing, but I did have a lot of fun messing with it, I will say that. Because there's a lot more cards to mess with. I didn't even mess with the 7-cost Luffy like the one guy was running. This card as well. This card comes out in OP07. This one says, this is a Monkey D. Luffy, 5-cost, 6K, 1K counter. When attacking, trash up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. Then place any number of character cards with a cost of 4 or more from your trash at the bottom of your deck in any order. This character gains plus 1,000 power during this turn for every 3 cards placed at the bottom of your deck. So that's interesting. I wonder... I don't think it gives plus 1 cost to characters in the trash. Y'all help me out if y'all know the answer to that, but I don't think it does. Same thing with the stage. Your black characters with Straw Hat Crew type have plus 1 cost. No. It would have to be cards that are in play. I'm like 99.9% sure about that. Here's the ST-08 Luffy. So now there's 3 different versions of Luffy that are like pretty much black, and it's ST-08, ST-13, and ST-14. All starter decks, as weird as that is. But anyway, that's about it, guys. Like I said, if you guys have any comments, questions, suggestions on this, please post them down in the comment section below. I think this leader has potential, but I'd like to see it get more support. And of course, this is just the first time that black has ever been taken in this direction of plussing characters, plussing the cost of characters. So, if they could get a black searcher, I think all of a sudden this could be a very powerful deck, because this is Straw Hat Crew searchable. Now, yes, it does have to be a Dressrosa type character that you target with this, but there's a perfect target for that is Dressrosa and Straw Hat Crew, right? Like, it would be perfect for that. And you could even double it over and put it on Saba if you need to. But yeah, that is something. If there was a black Straw Hat Crew searcher, I do feel like this deck would actually go up a whole nother level, to the point where maybe you don't even need Gecko Moria. But Gecko Moria is very nice because it satisfies the 8-cost character clause. It can throw out Rebecca's, which can throw out Usopp's, or even the 3-cost Nami. It does a lot. It has a lot of synergy in the deck. Sorry, guys. My nose is itching like crazy for my mustache. I got to shave. I don't know if I should grow the beard out or not. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Let me move my face, too. Should I grow the beard out or no? We'll have to... Maybe I'll do a poll. Maybe I'll do a poll on it. What do you guys think? Should I grow out the beard or not? Okay. Well, that's about it. Like I said, guys, just to talk about a few more things. The 2K counters or whatever, you probably could just replace these with like any other 2K counter that you actually want to run, because I don't think they're mandatory. Sanji is an all-star in a deck like this. Like, it's an absolute juggernaut in a deck like this. Nami's okay. Nico Robin also, like, this is basically your 8-cost character. Because, and by the way, whenever you're playtesting this deck, mulligan until you get the 1000 Sunny. Like, try to aggressively mulligan to get this card. It makes a huge difference, and it replaces itself. So even if you get it later in the game, you can just replace the one you have in play to draw a card, just to cycle for 1 cost. So that is really nice. But yeah, 6-cost characters that are Straw Hat Crew in this deck are basically 8-cost characters if you have down your 1000 Sunny stage and your leader with a Dawn attached. So really good stuff there. All right, that's it. I think I'm done. Let me just put up the patrons page. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for everyone who's listening and commenting, sharing, subscribing, liking, all that stuff, guys. I appreciate it. And big shout out to all my patrons on the page over here. You guys are incredible. And as usual, guys, if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, anything like that, please do not hesitate to put them down in the comment section below. I try to get on those as soon as I can. And please do not forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, and that's it. Till next time, guys. Peace.